of people are terrified of buying a house because they just don't know how long it actually takes to flip. But in reality, it really does range. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about kind of exactly how long it takes for me to flip any one of my houses. And if you're new to this channel, my name's Justin Yearong, and I've helped hundreds of people make money in real estate. So basically, how long it usually takes for any of my house flips, it ranges from like 4 to 8 months, roughly around there. And I'm gonna kind of break down like maybe the 5 or so categories of like what the house flip actually entails. So first step, I actually buy the house. So once I buy the house, that's kind of obvious, it's day zero. Day zero, I buy the house. The first thing I do, if there are tenants in that home, I start the eviction process. And in my state of California, it could take 30 days, it could take 60 days, it could take 90 days. California kind of sucks with evictions, to be honest. And there's ways to negotiate like faster, like I can do something called cash for keys, where I can offer the tenant money if they want to get out faster. But basically, like evictions roughly, I'll estimate maybe take 30 to 60 days. And so that in itself, if they have a tenant, like it extends the time frame of how long I'm going to be holding these homes. The next thing I do, maybe like once the tenant's actually out of the home, or maybe if there's no tenant at all, the next thing I'll do is I'll actually bring out contractors to get bids on the property. What I mean by bids is basically I'll bring out contractors and I want to see how much the project is going to cost. Because at this point, I'm estimating what the project or the renovation is going to cost, but I actually don't know for sure. Like I have estimates just based on prior projects and past experience. But in reality, until you get contractors to actually give you bids on these properties, you have no idea how much it's actually going to cost, which is very scary. So that's probably another big fear that people have. In this process of bringing out contractors and getting bids, I'll usually bring out 3 contractors at least to get multiple bids, and I'll choose the best one from those bids. And that process usually takes about a week. So roughly a week, maybe 2 weeks, just depending on how fast the contractors get back to me. And another thing to know about these contractors is a lot of them will be really slow to get back to you. So you really have to stay on top of them to get these bids back to start your actual project. And then once I select the contractor, then I actually start the actual renovation project. And this project takes maybe around 4 to 8 weeks, just depending on how big the project is. Most of my rehabs honestly take about 4 to 6 weeks. Sometimes it extends if there's a lot of extra things that kind of came up that I did not expect. Or if just, maybe a bad contractor. Or maybe it was just me or my project manager doing a poor job of holding these contractors accountable. So it could be a variety of things, but if you have a really tiny rehab, it could take just a couple weeks. But if you have something more extensive, where just gutting the whole home and making everything nice, then it might take at least 4 weeks, probably 8, maybe 12 if this is a much bigger project. So most of my rehabs, like I said, 4 to 6 weeks, and that's the entire thing. So just make sure that during that initial week where you're actually getting these bids from the contractors, just make sure you're picking the right one. And also know that the cheapest bid is not always the best bid. I've made that mistake way too many times, and you get 3 bids. You get one for a 30K renovation project, a 31K renovation project, and then you see one for 27K. And you're like, oh, this one's way better, it's way cheaper. But cheapest isn't always the best, it's just kind of how it works. You have to make sure you have a contractor you can really trust and one that you can rely on fully. And then once the rehab is over, that's when we actually go to list the home for sale. And when I sell my homes, I actually don't list them myself. I used to when I was an agent myself. I still am an agent today, but I really don't utilize my license. I just hire that out and I just get another agent to list the home for me. And it honestly allows me to focus way more on my actual investing business versus being an agent, because that's not what I want, right? And from the time I list the home, it usually takes me about 2 to 4 months to sell the home. And when I say sell the home, I mean actually sold the home, where the buyer has actually closed on the home and it's now in their possession. So 2 to 4 months to actually sell the home from the day it's listed. And the time frame kind of depends, 1, on how good of a job I actually did on the rehab. Maybe I did a poor job and it's not selling. 2, how I priced it. Maybe I priced it poorly when I went to list the home for sale. And 3, it also depends on the kind of market that you're in. So the market that we're in right now, it's called a seller's market, where essentially if I'm going to be listing my home, the home is going to be sold way faster than usual because there's just not a lot of homes on the market and there's still a ton of buyers out there. So the buyers are just they're buying anything essentially. They're raising the prices. That's the kind of market we're in right now. Anyways, if we're in a buyer's market, which is the complete opposite, or essentially if you're going to be listing a home, the buyers have the power. So there's a lot of homes on the market. The buyers have the power of negotiation. and it might take a little bit longer to sell. So that's why I say roughly 2 to 4 months, just depending on what market you're in. And overall, flipping a home, people think that it's very fast money, and it's a lot of money. I'll admit that if you're doing it right, if you're getting a great deal, if you're doing a good job on the rehab, if you're doing everything decent. You don't have to do everything perfect, but if you do everything decent, it is good money. By no means is it fast. Like I told you, like all these things that we just talked about, it takes 4 to 8 months for me, on average, to flip a home start to finish, from buying to selling it. That's a long time. It's a lot different than if I'm gonna go on eBay, buy some shoes for $100 and sell them for $200. Like, you could do that in a week, do it in 2 weeks. Like, flipping a home, it takes a long time, a lot of effort, a lot of stress, and I'm gonna just be real with you, like it's hard. It's hard work. So I wanted to make this video because so many of you out there are just curious about how long it takes because they think that flipping is just fast money. But the truth is, it's not. And if this video brought you any value at all, and if you just want help with your real estate investing business, I want you to click on the link in the description, fill out the form, and someone from my team's gonna reach out to you for a free strategy session. Peace.